Sky Moore back at linebacker, that's a game changer. That guy is just fun to watch. He is just a guy that fills up the box score start to finish because of all the things that he can do. We've seen him as a safety, now entrenched at linebacker, and so he's a guy that is going to put a smile on South Carolina Gamecock fans just to see him back on the field and hopefully healthy for the full slate.
Yeah, Sky Moore's return certainly is something you expect to improve this defense from a year ago. Sky Moore has led the team in tackles for 3 straight years. He'd be one of the few players to do it for 4 years if he was able to do it coming off of the neck injury. Certainly the linebacker position is a position that doesn't have depth, but it has talent. You're going to have Sky Moore and another senior in Bryson Allen Williams, who was highly coveted in the recruiting process, who was probably forced to play earlier than he needed to be. But Bryson Allen Williams has been a team leader. He is a guy that pushes everybody in the weight room. And those two guys, Sky Moore and Bryson Allen Williams, are going to have to be the foundation of the defense as a whole. Those two guys are going to have to be your concrete pillars that can call and put guys in the right position and lead this team to a successful defensive season. Next to them is going to be a sophomore in TJ Brunson, who is right here from in Columbia and had a quality freshman year. It's going to be time for him to step up and live up to the potential. He was actually the first recruit Will Muschamp went and visited upon arriving in Columbia and doing his press conference back in 2015. So TJ Brunson will be the third guy. Now, after that, the problem you have is there's no experienced depth. They're going to look at a junior college player in Eldridge Thompson. They're going to look at some freshmen in Devon Bowen. I think a young man, Sherrod Green, out of North Carolina, could see some playing time. And there's a legacy recruit, Damani Staley, who actually led the state in sacks from the defensive end position. That those 4 guys are going to be expected to have to help at the linebacker position, but there's not going to be proven depth there behind Sky Moore, Bryson Allen Williams, and TJ Brunson. But when you look at those 3 guys, they're probably a little bit closer to the top end of the SEC in terms of talent and potential. So you're talking about 3 guys that probably are top 6. After that, if you were to do the full unit, the full 2 deep, you're talking about, again, a defensive a linebacking group that's probably outside of the top 8. So there's a big drop off from starters to backups. And so again, you're talking about guys having to stay healthy in 2017 for that linebacking group to really shine.
Yeah. As soon as you go through the numbers there, the first thing that comes to mind is health. And health is important for everyone because everybody wants their frontline guys on the field. But when you got that kind of gap to the second and third levels on any unit on the field where you need numbers of players, you're not talking about maybe one running back that can do the job for any particular period of time, at least. Linebacker, you need especially depending on the scheme, you need guys out there and having those 2 top guys in particular healthy for 13 games, assuming you get to bowl play, is going to be huge. So SEC Football Media Days coming up next week. Will, I don't know if you've checked out. I would assume so. Who's showing up for the Gamecocks, and who would that be?
It's going to be an offensive trio. Very interesting that Will Muschamp, a guy known for his defense, is going to send all offensive guys. So you'll get Jake Bentley, Hayden Hurst, and Debo Samuel. No defense against. We thought maybe Sky Moore would go, but after not playing last year, kind of understood that. Bryson Allen Williams seemed like a logical person to go. Maybe a defensive lineman, maybe a secondary player, but it will be 3 offensive players that head out to Birmingham on Thursday. South Carolina goes the final day. So wonder if that's not Will Muschamp trying to change the perception of him as a coach being a defensive guy by taking 3 offensive players, 3 good offensive players, 3 guys that could really make that offense go in 2017 to highlight what should be the strength of South Carolina in the upcoming season.
That seems to be the message that's being sent, because I've got a theory about these media days that the coach should at least think of the media in regards to, I need some offense, I need some defense to be represented. Also, they tend to take offensive linemen. This isn't proving out in this situation, but I think the coaches like to take offensive linemen to give them some recognition, say, hey, this is one of the leaders of our team. They're smart. They typically know what's going on in the program and with the offense, and to kind of showcase those guys that don't get a whole lot of pub the rest of the time and get them front and center. That's usually a ploy and a good one for the coaches. But then the offensive defensive balance usually has to be there to rep both sides of the football, but that's not going to be the case. So, yeah, Will Muschamp making a statement there.
Well, it needs to, again, look at the defense. I think there might have been a conflict with Bryson Allen Williams and an internship he was doing, and maybe that's a reason why he doesn't. He's really the only logical choice defensively. We could name a few other guys, but in terms of star power, that defense is going to be. It's an interesting year for South Carolina as we go through each position. South Carolina and Will Muschamp are going to have to win on offense early on. We talk about the defensive line and not having pass rushers and trying to improve upon being 90th against the run in 2016 and being better against that in 2017, especially when you look at guys on the schedule like Sony Michel and Nick Chubb. You look at Arkansas, who likes to run the football. You're going to see some teams. We know Tennessee will probably try and run the football given what they've got coming back. So that defensive line, while there are quality players there, they're going to have to play a lot better in 2017, and there's not really a name person to take with you. Similar on the offensive line. Some quality players, but I don't know if there's a name person you take with you. So it made the most sense, and why not try and change the perception of Will Muschamp? Take 3 offensive guys and show that, hey, maybe this is the year the offense finally clicks for Muschamp.
All right, SEC Football Media Days gives us something new and fresh to talk about as the coaches and the players descend on Hoover, Alabama. Will Gunter will be right there. I'll be there by a little bit of extension and watching just about everything I possibly can get my hands on in regards to interviews and so forth, and talking to guys like Will. So Will and I get together just about every week to talk Gamecocks football. We call it Gamecocks Breakdown here at MarkRogersTV and SEC Breakdown. Will, it's always a pleasure. I always learn something. You get myself a little bit better set for the South Carolina football season.
I appreciate it. Looking forward to SEC Media. We are, I think, 9 weeks maybe from this weekend. So the countdown is on. Not far away from the actual season and being able to watch games and talk about it and talk about the game the next day.